Hello, Sagittarius. Elsie here to do a reading for you. It is for the month of July. We are looking at the monthlies. Let's scoot into July a little bit, see what you might be expecting that might come up for you in the month of July, whether you are a sun, moon, rising, Venus, or Jupiter Sagittarius. Look, we got a lot of stuff moving around. There's been a lot of planetary movements, right? Especially in Aries. Neptune and Saturn both entered Aries. And, Neptune in Aries is like an awakening. And then Saturn comes up and says, well, what are you doing with that awakening? Uranus is in Gemini. It's going to be there for a while, right? 8 years. Taurus could tell you that. And we've got Chiron that has entered Taurus as well. And that is healing, right? That is healing your worth, healing your finances, healing things and finding out what is really worth it for you. And we have a year of Jupiter in Leo, which is expansion and expression. All of those things, plus Mercury retrograde is on our heels. Let's find out what's going on as we ask 3 questions. The first one is, how are you showing up in July? You are showing up, wow, in a rebirth situation here, friend. So the 5 indicates that possibly you have been in some lack. It feels as though it says a rebirth is assured. You are being reborn from this really tough cycle. Maybe you've been feeling lonely. 5s are about feeling a little bit disconnected, feeling in lack. Things aren't really going great. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Maybe you're not sleeping well. It feels like this rebirth assured is telling me that there is some healing coming, and that would be the influence of Chiron and Taurus, right? Let's talk more about the second question, which is, what are you going to be reconsidering? Because with Mercury retrograde in Cancer, it's all about emotional reflection. So let's find out what's going on here. What will you be reflecting on, reconsidering possibly in the month of July? We have nothing is wasted. So we have card number 63, which is a 9. It feels like you're about to exit this cycle, but you are not leaving anything behind. It feels like every door is going to be locked, maybe padlocked. Maybe you're putting over the wood slats and nailing in the nails. It feels like here with the vulture spirit, like, the vultures come to pick over the bones after animals have died. And the vultures are part of the ecosystem, right? They are part of a really important part of the ecosystem. And so I'm going to say that you are a very important part of the ecosystem. In order for you to be able to move forward, you need to let the ecosystem do what it's going to do. Leave the bones, leave whatever's gone on in the past, leave it there. Whatever lack, I feel, is what you're going to reconsider about what you can leave behind and what you are taking with you into the next 6 months of your life. So this is a reading for July, but this is the turning point for the rest of the year, right? So let's talk about what you should be focusing on in July. This is going to bring you a new identity. You can see with all those planets and the movements, everything is stationary for a while. The one that is in their sign for the least time is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Leo. And then after that, it's like, Chiron 8 years and Uranus 7 to 8 years. And Neptune is going to be stationary for 14 years. So there's not much movement. Everything is sort of moved into its place now, and things are going to be changing accordingly. So when we talk about what you should be focused on, it says think on your feet. I think for you, things are going to be moving fairly quickly. Change for you is going to come quickly. Once you decide to leave this lack behind and you decide to close the door and leave whatever you need to leave to the ecosystem and let it just be buried back there. It feels like you need to think on your feet, because once you release this heavy energy, I feel like you feel as though you can fly. We do have 27, which is another 9. Look, you're at the edge of something that is on the precipice of change. You're leaving behind the lack. It's time for you to thrive, my friend. We've got the bottom of the deck in the future. It says, dream the world into being, kind of like the magician energy. You have the ability to create your future because you are the magician. It says here, this is the lizard spirit. It says dream the world into being. Whatever you can dream, you can be. Whatever you think about, you bring about. Card number 11. 11 is the prime number, right? It is the basis by which everything is the beginning. It's the beginning of everything. And I feel like you're going to be moving into a pretty good balance, I feel. Let's find out what else is going on. Tell me more about Sagittarius. Thank you for your thumbs up. If that's what you're here to do today, makes a huge difference in how other Sagittariuses see us in the algorithm. Thanks for doing that. Let's find out what's going on. Tell me about Sag. There we go. We've got death. Something here's changing. This isn't a little change. This is a major change. As I said here, you're leaving something behind. I just heard Imagine Dragons, thunder. Gonna leave my old life behind. I feel like I think you need to think on your feet because things are about to speed up. We've got the moon energy. And we've got the Two of Swords. So the thing is that you still are going to have to make decisions, right, about what you're going to do next. I feel like you're trying to trust your intuition because the moon energy indicates that things are not as they seem. What isn't as it seems is that I feel you're going to have to make some tough decisions. It feels as though you're at a crossroads, my friend, and death is permanent. Right? It's a permanent transition or transformation. Things will never be the way they were. And so we have death, and then we have the vulture here. Nothing is wasted, coming to pick over the bones. So take what you need to take with you and leave the rest of it behind. Let it burn, friend. Tell me more. Okay, that one wants to be heard. We've got the Four of Pentacles. I'm going to say let it burn to the ground and then shut the doors and walk away. I know that you don't know what you're walking into, but the universe is saying here, the full moon is here, you've got to release some things. Even though you're unsure of the future, you've got to release some things. It's a hard crossroads to be at, but you're going to have to pick a lane. You're going to have to pick a way. And that means that the other way is going to be cut out. We do have the Seven of Cups. What I like about this Seven of Cups is this person is choosing, right? There's a lot of options, opportunities. They could be emotional ones, which could be overwhelming. But this is the place where you have to make decisions and choices with your intuition. The Two of Swords is asking you to not believe what you see, to use your intuition and feel it out a little bit, and that's going to help you make this sharp precision decision. We have decisions with precision. We have the Seven of Cups here, which tells me that not knowing what's coming up next is what is the hardest part, and I believe it. Oh yeah, I just heard Tom Petty. The waiting is the hardest part, right? But I feel like you have been waiting, and now you have the opportunity to step forward. You just don't know where you're going. And I don't think you're really open to that because the Four of Pentacles is here. It feels like you are, I would say, like not really closed off to it. Well, this looks pretty closed off. Look, we have some chains across the door. But I'm going to say that once you finally let go, and in order to let go, you've got to be a little bit vulnerable. And I think that's why the Death card and the Moon card are here together, to show you that it's really not as fearful as you think it is, as long as you're into making sharp decisions. And the Two of Swords isn't just about making decisions. It's a crossroads, because the crossroads is like, well, I know that if I go this way, I'm never going back there. So it's a permanent decision, and that's why it's so hard. It's one you're making with precision because you intend to cut out one for the other. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So listen, I feel like somebody here is standing on the precipice of change. I don't think your toes are at the threshold. I think your foot is up and ready to step over the threshold. But I really do believe that you are trying to step around or skirt around transformation. You know, when everything changes, that you have to close a door. And, even though it was hard, this rebirth and the death are right where they're supposed to be, right? They found each other in this reading. Look how many cards are here, right? That card came out. Look how many cards are here. There's 78 in this deck. I've only got 6 on the table, and these two managed to find each other. The rebirth is assured, and the death card is next. So I feel it's also the death of you being closed off, shut down, not being able to make decisions. I do feel that you are at this place, I'm going to say, where you have to sit down and look at the map, because you are unsure about all of the options. Look, options can be a good thing. It can be overwhelming. It can be emotional. It can be a bit of an illusion. Like maybe you think you have, maybe you're in this moon energy saying, maybe I thought I had a lot of opportunities, but what if it comes down to making a decision and I realize I didn't have any opportunities or any options? I feel like you stop, sit on the ground, look at the map, you're recalibrating recalibrating the GPS before you move forward to dream whatever it is that you're about to dream here. Dreaming the world into being. Let's find out what you're letting go of first. What is the transformation all about? Tell me about the death card. We've got the 3 of Cups. Well, there it is. I think you're outgrowing your social group. I think you're outgrowing your friend group. I don't think you want to go, but in order to be able to stay, you also have to give something up, which is you can't be authentic. You must stay in the 4 of Pentacles. If you're holding on really tightly to the 3 of Cups, you can't be authentic if you're not vulnerable. So you see, you got to pick one or the other. If you stay back there with the friends in the group, and you've outgrown the group, then you are not growing, right? It's going to be frustrating that you want to be authentic, but you can't in front of them. Because I'm just going to say, when you begin to wake up and be more vulnerable, and you're a little bit of a weirdo in a group of people who just aren't that way. We've got the Knight of Cups. And we've got the 2 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like there is a reason you're having a hard time letting go of whatever it is that you need to let go of to have these massive changes take you into the rest of the year. And I think these are really big changes, because I feel like connected to the 3 of Cups, your celebration, your friend group, is probably someone that you might have really bonded to, somebody you really love or you have romantic feelings for. So the 2 of Cups is here, and it's not always love, right? It is a bond to someone emotional, and we can have that with our bestie, we can have that with a best friend. But the Knight of Cups tells me here that I think it's a bit of an illusion, and you don't realize that this 3 of Cups, this group of friends here, it's a bit of an illusion. It feels as though you are somebody who is a traveler. You've got lots to do. There's transformation on the table for you. You've been picked for a higher purpose. And I feel like it's a comfortable place to be, but it's not the place where you're going to be able to grow. So I feel as though there are relationships, maybe some deep feelings, maybe some romantic feelings back here that you need to let go of, and that you're not quite ready to do that just yet. I do feel that you will, because look, the majors are the majors, right? When the major arcana shows up, you got 2 choices, friend. Whether you are going to go kicking and screaming, or whether you're going to invite it in, right? It's whether you are going to react or respond, right? Tell me about the 2 of Swords. We've got the 4 of Cups. That's what it is. You are going to have to make them feel rejected. You're going to have to reject one thing for another. And I don't think that that makes you feel very good about you. It's the beginning of you making decisions that are probably going to end up making you feel a little lonely for the time being, until you find the new group of friends. But look, in the 4 of Cups, if you're hiding from your friends anyway, look, this person has their hand over their head, right? If you're hiding from the friends anyway and refusing invitations and things like that because you no longer fit into the group, then maybe it's just time to let it go. It does feel like the sharpness of the rejection is what you're trying to avoid. But I'm telling you that once you finally do let go, things begin to move quicker than you can imagine. There's no more waiting for some of the things that you've been waiting for. We've got the 2 of Wands here. Yeah, 2 of Wands is in the reverse. So I feel like the planning stage is already over. I feel like you've seen the future, you've been planning for it, dreaming about it, and I feel like the only last thing left to do is for you to give up the thing that you are already outgrowing. You're like Alice in Wonderland. You don't fit in the house anymore. You're growing bigger than the others. Look at that. Oh boy, we got the World card in the bottom of the deck. So I do feel that in the month of July, this is a month of great change for you, my friend. I feel like you are literally taking on a whole new identity, because back here there was lack. And I feel like even though you don't want to be alone, and I think that's why you're hanging out in the Three of Cups here. It is celebratory. You probably go out on weekends. We have a lot of fun, but I don't really think it's your tribe. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you just don't want to be alone, and so you hang out there. I also feel like there are some emotional attachments there, is what it feels like. People you've known for a very long time. But I don't think they're treating you right. I think you're tolerating it because you don't want to be alone. So I feel like with the Fool energy here, that this possibility of leaving where you were to go to the new place, when things begin to pick up speed here, thinking on your feet is what you're going to have to do. And this kind of is a representation of thinking on your feet, right? Trying to keep yourself in balance mentally while you're figuring out what you're going to let go and what you're going to keep. See, I think you are separate from the group, but I feel like you go to the group anyway. I feel like you're the one with the most knowledge, and I think that you're very aware of what it feels like to feel rejected, and I don't think you want to reject anyone or hurt them emotionally, but it feels like, I'm just going to show you these two cups. That's what's catching my eye. We've got space between the cups, and we've got a third one over here. So it feels like, and then the fourth one is on the shelf, the one you don't see. That's the one I believe that you're kind of looking for. But I feel like you're separate from the group. I feel like you're smarter, you have more information. You might be someone who has maybe your friend group, they're not working as hard as you in terms of maybe you've got a bachelor or a master's, or maybe you've got some sort of diploma. It feels like you've got some education, and I feel like you're avoiding the future. It's like, I don't want to move forward. It's going to be lonely up there. So I feel like this Two of Wands in the reverse, when I see the Two of Wands in the reverse, it's like, boom, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. And what shows up? The Fool shows up next. So although I think it's a little bit terrifying, because I think you're going out there on your own and you don't know what you're walking into, I feel like you might do it anyway, because I don't think there's any way to go back. You're sort of between worlds at this point. I don't think there's any way to go back, and the only thing left to do is to close the door, because it's weighing heavy. It's a very heavy burden you're carrying, friend. That's what it feels like. But I do believe that it is something that is setting you up for the next 6 months. Let's talk about this Moon energy. We have, look at that. That's what's hiding in the Moon energy. That's what you can't see. Things that are not as they seem. We've got the Lovers here. There's many choices that are going to lead to happy unions. Maybe some of them romantic. It feels like there's choices that'll lead to happy unions, or people that you will partner with in the next cycle. But I don't think that you see that. All you see is the loss, and not necessarily what you might be gaining. Because right now I think that you might be fixated on the stark contrast of what you could have, what's in your dreams, and what here is feeling like you're being rejected a little bit. We've got the Five of Pentacles. It feels like a stark contrast of, I really want to be joined to somebody, maybe romantically. I really want to choose a new friend or a new partner or a new bestie. But it feels like you're feeling in lack right now. I don't think there's anything left to do but pick over the bones, you understand, right? I feel like it's already gone. The Page of Wands is here. So look, what you can look forward to that you can't see because the Moon is hiding it here, is that this is an exciting time for you. This is a time for you to be able to pick a lane, do something you've never done before, take a little bit of a risk. It's an exciting time for you, but it looks really dreary and cold and stark and lonely because the Moon is here and you can't see this exciting new leap of faith that you'll be taking. I know that it's a harsh reality and a harsh decision to make, but I feel like this is exciting and exhilarating. I feel like it's time for you to execute some sort of plan that you've had for the future, but I feel like this is your comfort zone here, right? Because we'd have 3 cups and 1 in the hand of the knight. That makes it 4. It feels like that's been your comfort zone for a really long time. Bottom of the deck, we have the 9 of Swords, and then we have the 6 of Wands. So I feel like you are going to be closing the door, and it's not going to be right away, but you are going to see that dropping this really heavy burden that you're carrying, which is probably worry, that you're about to get some sort of victory from actually clearing the way, closing the door, and leaving the old chapter of your life. Look, we're going to go into the extended. We're going to talk more about this. Why are you stopping? What are you contemplating? Why is it overwhelming? And how can you become more vulnerable in order to pull in your dreams? Because I feel like you should take advantage of all of these moving planets. Awakenings are abound. And Saturn is the taskmaster asking, this is your awakening. What are you doing with it? Let's go to the extended and talk about that. If you'd like to come to the extended, please take a look at the comments area. Right above the comments, there is one pinned comment under every video that I upload, and you will find there is a membership link there if you'd like to come into the membership. It's quite reasonable to join, and you will get all of the extendeds for all of the readings in the membership area, with a few other perks. If you're interested in a private reading, I've got 3-month, I've got 6-month readings available. Also, one question, I do readings live, and I also do them pre-recorded. So if you're into any of that, please click on the Hypsee link. Go ahead and nose around, take a look at my prices and packages. I'm going to go to the extended now and talk to you further about this, Sag. If you'd like to be there, you know how to get there. I will see you there. And if not, that's okay, because I'll be back, because I'm always back. And look, hey, keep your eyes peeled, because you're going to have a weekly reading coming out this week as well, not just this monthly reading. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back. Take care. Bye-bye.